Hello, I'm EG, and this is Crocheting with EG. And in this video, I'm going to show the antique sewing basket that I bought for my mom. I bought it on eBay. And it's one that's similar to the one that she used to have when I was growing up. And when she started to make my niece another blanket, I was thinking about her antique sewing caddy that she used to have. And I don't know what happened to the other one, but I wanted to get her a sewing caddy, so I bought that on eBay. And I did crochet this ridiculous bow to put on it, because I wanted to have a big bow on it when I gave it to her. And so I used some of that plush yarn on my niece's wall and made this ridiculous bow. And I mean, she loves it so much that she's just going to have it on there all the time, but I'll show that too, if you want to see that. And then I did get a small bag of yarn from Goodwill. It was like this tiny little bag for $5. I'll show that. And then there is some like crochet and yarn related stuff in here, but for the most part, the rest of it is just like a bunch of random stuff in one of my variegated videos. But anyway, so I'll show the antique sewing caddy first, and I'll tell the whole story behind it. But it's one of these kind of sewing caddies. The pattern on the fabric, of course, is different than the one that my mom used to have. But the structure and even these bars, like she noticed how these bars were when I gave it to her. Because like she said, oh, it's just like the one that I used to have. Like it looks exactly like the one that she used to have. And so the reason I got this one for her is like the picture on eBay. The flowers almost look like violets, because my mom's favorite flower is violets. But in person, it's not as purple as I thought that they were, but I mean, it is a really gorgeous little sewing caddy. It's one of those, like it folds up, you know, like this, and then I don't want to mess up the bow, but it folds up like this, and then you can open it up, and that's how she would always have it. She would have it by the coffee table in the living room, and this is the bow I made. It's utterly ridiculous. All it is like some of that plush yarn, that purple plush yarn or whatever, from my niece's wall, and I made like this bow just to put on it. But she loved it, and but I wanted to get her this sewing caddy, and so I bought this a couple weeks ago, and I didn't mention it in the video because I was like waiting for it to come. But I bought it on eBay, or we were talking about because she had. Hang on. I'm trying to say like 15 freaking things at once. Okay, including a cuss word that I don't want to say. God, it's so frustrating. And so let me just back up to the very beginning of the story. Instead of like saying it in the middle, like 15 of the middle, so I'll start at the beginning. So I wanted to get her a sewing caddy, and her picking up that blanket and starting it made me think about the whole sewing caddy thing. And I said, I wish that we can get you one of those sewing caddies and stuff. And she said, oh yeah, I remember that thing. And I'll put in a little insert shot from our home movies of what the sewing caddy looks like. She used to have it by the coffee table, and I don't know what happened to the original, but what the joke in our heads is that my mom would have it by the coffee table, and she'd like have her little blanket there, or like whatever she was working on top of it, and my big fat ass cat Tinky would be sleeping on it all the time, and then so because he was on it all the time, he was just like this big fat, just big bellied cat or whatever. He was really well fed, just a big fat ass, and so like the joke in our head is like she must have gotten rid of it years ago because he probably broke it, laying on it all the time, but I don't know what happened to it. But I wanted to get her one of those sewing caddies, and so I like went in the home movies, and I was like trying to look and say, okay, I remember the bars, they had that kind of groove on them and stuff, and I couldn't find one exactly like that one, like with the same pattern and everything. But she used that sewing caddy all the time, and I just remember that so vividly, and so I wanted to get her a sewing caddy. And so I was looking around online, and I looked on Amazon, or first of all, I looked in Hobby Lobby, because, I go in there every freaking day, so I was looking around there, and of course I didn't see one in there. And I looked in Michael's, and I didn't see one in there. And then I looked on Amazon, and the only one that they had on Amazon was like this, like, it sort of looked like the same kind of structure, the way it, opens up and everything, but it just looked kind of plain. It didn't look like, the antique one that my mom used to have. And so, I don't know, I was looking at it, and I was thinking, well, I guess I could get that for it. But then I noticed the scale of it was like really small, so it was like a little tabletop kind or something. And so I thought, I'm gonna have to break down and get one on eBay, even though it was like an antique. And so I found one on eBay, and it had like some purpley looking flowers on it and stuff, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna get this for her. And so I bought her that on eBay, and then in one of my previous videos I said that we went to a local antique store, the one that had the yarn in it and stuff, and I didn't get it. But I went to that local antique store. We were like going around. We did go into that other antique store that had the bed jackets in it, like the actual bed jackets. And so we were like going around town, and I'd already bought the sewing caddy. And so like I knew that it was on its way, but I wasn't sure when it was going to come. But I was thinking, we're going to be going into these antique stores, and I thought, you know, maybe I should tell my mom that I bought this, because like we were talking about the whole sewing caddy thing, and like talking about, you know, getting her another sewing basket, but like I didn't want to. I wanted it to be a surprise that I actually found one and bought it and it was on its way. But then I thought we're going to be going into some antique stores, and like, God, we were talking about getting one, and then I know that the second we walk in there, that we're going to come across like 18 of these freaking things, and so then I'm going to have to explain to her, like, she's going to see one, and then in my head, what's going to happen was she was going to see it and say, oh, we found one, and then I would have to tell her, like, you know, take away her excitement of like, you know, we found a sewing basket, and then it's like, oh, what, I already bought one, and the one that I bought might not be as nice as the one that she, you know, loved that we saw in the antique store, or like whatever, but luckily, I stopped myself because I thought, like, maybe they won't have one, because I felt like if we had, because we had been in those antique stores before, and I felt like if we would have seen that in there, we make comments. So we're like Coco Peru going through a store, making comments on everything, and if we wanted to see one in there, we would have been like, oh, look, it's like that antique sewing caddy that used to have, you know, Tinky would lay his big fat ass on all the time. We would have made a comment on it, and so like I just felt like they probably won't have one. I was hoping that they wouldn't, and so we went in there and we looked around and all that kind of stuff, and that was the other trip. But luckily they didn't have one anywhere in there, and so like, these must be really rare or something. I've never seen one out anywhere since, you know, I was a kid, and so I bought it on eBay, and it eventually came, and then I set it all up, and I put the big bow on it and stuff, and she loved it. And when we were talking about the whole sewing caddy thing, because like she wasn't really thinking about it, but then we started to crochet, and I was thinking about that sewing caddy, and I said, we ought to get you one of those sometime if we ever see one out. And she said, like, you're the most thoughtful thing. So when this finally came, and I had it all set up with the, you know, the ridiculous bow on and all that kind of stuff, she was just going on and on and on about it, and like just, you know, touching the bars and stuff, and she said, oh, this is exactly like the one, and like she was just getting really emotional and stuff, and said that like just looking at it is like this big hug, and she loved it. It was worth every penny that I spent on eBay, and so I just couldn't believe that I found one, for one thing, because there's only a couple of those on eBay, and it has little flowers on it. They're not as purple as I'd want them to be, but you know, it doesn't really matter, but it's like exactly like the one that my mom had, and so I just can't believe I found it. And so she has her crocheting in it and stuff, and she has her little bag. The first thing she put in the sewing caddy was her bag that I got her. This is, I think I can't remember if I showed this in my old videos or this one, but it's this bag that I got my mom, and it has a quote from Let It Be, you know, because she loves the Beatles, so you know, there will be an answer, let it be. And so it's like this little Beatles bag that she has a crochet hook and all that kind of stuff in. So I got her that sewing caddy, and then the next thing I'll show is the yarn that I bought from Goodwill, and so it's just like this tiny little bag. This is $5, and there is some Crafted Secret cotton in here, like whatever, and some of that fundamental cotton. I don't know if I'll keep those, but there were some skeins or cakes in here that were pretty enough where it was worth the $5. So there's 3 skeins of the Crafted Secret cotton, although this feels like a Crafted Secret cotton too. It's just like this orange color. This ball doesn't have a label on it. These look brand new. So this is the Crafted Secret cotton in the color. It's weird to even say that. Like, I'm so unused to saying that Crafted Secret cotton because I don't buy this anymore. Crafted Secret cotton in the color Valentine's. So it's this pink mix, dark pink and light pink, and a little bit of white in it. So it's that one. And then it's weird to say that and not say the price. The regular price for these were $2.99. I don't know if that's what it is now or how old this was, but there's that one. And then Crafted Secret cotton in the color Haute Pink, Haute. I'm sure I butchered that word, hot pink. I don't know, but it has purples and pinks and a little bit of green in it. A nice variegated mix of pinks and purples. It's called hot pink. And then Crafted Secret cotton in the color yellow confetti. It is a really, like I've said, the Crafted Secret cotton, there are some gorgeous colorways in this. I'm not crazy about how stiff this cotton is and how hard it is for me to work with it. How it kind of splits, and how, because I have tight tension anyway, but I feel like I have to have extra tight tension when I use this yarn just to keep it together. But the colorways are just as gorgeous as all the other colorways. So I'm not crapping on the colors. They are really pretty. So this is a really pretty kind of I would say a corn. I don't know why my brain went to corn, but such a hick. I swear to God. It's a corn yellow with all kinds of confetti colors in it, and so orange and purple and pink and green and whatever. So it's corn yellow color, but yellow confetti, but whatever. And so that's the Craft Secret cotton. And then this Yarn Bee fundamental cotton, and the fundamental. Now I'm such in hick. I'm thinking about my speech or whatever. Now I'm like in hick mode, trying to make sure I don't say anything hickish. And I say fundamental cotton and the color canary or this matches the corn color. God, I'm such a mess. Okay, so Yarn Bee fundamental cotton and the color canary. So it is like a canary yellow, or it's just same kind of corn yellow, or it's a little bit more vibrant than this this corn yellow. This is probably more like corn than this one. This is probably like a dull corn, like the white corn and the yellow corn. Whatever. So. Whatever. It's fundamental cotton in the color canary, and I was gonna say the price, but this is $5. But anyway, and then this is just like a random ball of yarn. I don't know what kind of yarn this is, just like this kind of taupe color. And then this one is like the same, looks like the same kind of yarn, but I don't know, it's like a gray color. So that's the difference in those two. And then these cakes. These are the whole reason I bought the bag in the first place, because these look so pretty. And they're by Ella Rae, E-L-L-A, and then R-A-E. I've never heard of that. Ella Rae Cozy Soft, and machine washable wool blend. You would never know it. It must be really nice wool for this to have wool in, because this is so soft. And they don't have colorway names on it. It's like color 25, color 34. So I don't know what color it is. But the price on these, like wherever this came from, like $7, $8, like for these tiny little cakes. So this must be really nice wool. It says 75% acrylic and 25% wool. It must be like really nice super wash wool, or whatever you call it. It says machine washable wool blend, but it must be that really nice super wash wool, or whatever you call it. And so, and all these colors match. Like I want to make something with all these together, because that must be why they bought these colors to put these together. So there's like all of these. So like this really vibrant yellow and this kind of golden yellow here. So like that's the difference in these two. And then this is an orange color. And then this one is like the variegated that would pair with all of these. It does have like the yellow and the orange. It doesn't really have the gold in it. All of the yellow is I guess it's a sort of a blend between the two, but like this variegated mix of oranges and yellows, and maybe a little bit of the goldish yellow in there. But really nice cakes of yarn, and really soft. I don't know what I'm going to make with these, but I feel like I need to keep these together, because obviously they match perfectly. And so that's like this tiny little haul, $5 for this bag, but which apparently was a good deal if these were priced at $8 or $7 a piece. I mean, God. And I don't know if I'll keep the Crafted Secret cotton, or if I'll put it with my yard sale stuff, or what. I need to just, I mean, it's not like I have 50 skeins of the Crafted Secret cotton. I do have some more on my wall, and a couple in hauls I haven't put away, and these. What I need to do is just try to use that up for something, like make a couple more like dish towels with the towel toppers on them, or something. Like just use that up. As frustrating as it might be to use it, I need to at least try to use it one more time, and then I mean, I'm sure it's going to be just as frustrating, but hopefully I can work through it enough and not be as frustrated where I can at least make something out of it. But if it just gets so frustrating that I just think, oh God, I'm just going to end up putting it with my yard sale stuff. I don't know. But that bag was $5 from Goodwill. And then when I was in Dollar Tree, I found this puzzle, and it's so adorable. I can't wait to put this together. But I mean, I'm sure it looks a little AI generated, but whatever. I mean, it's adorable anyway. But it looks like a kitty with yarn balls and stuff, really colorful yarn balls. I think this was $1.75 or something. I was supposed to say $1.24. No, a dollar. I think the puzzles are like $1.75 or something. I guess it's worth it because it's really pretty and everything. But I got that just because it has yarn on it. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. And then while I was in there getting this, I always look through the cards, like the greeting cards, and because like you can see the top of the greeting cards. And I'm always looking for ones that have cats on it, because I want to see if there's any with cats on it that has a yarn ball on it. Because I said, I'm gonna buy anything with yarn on it. But they did have this adorable kitty thing. It doesn't have yarn on it, but I saw this kitty sticking up, where the cards were. So I'm gonna put this in my bathroom on my wall. But it's just like this adorable look. Like I'm starting to decorate my bathroom, and it's starting to look really nice. It's ridiculous. I'm like decorating a freaking bathroom. But I just thought this card was really cute, and I'm gonna hang it up in my bathroom It's like a wet cat in a sink or whatever. But I got that while I was in Dollar Tree. And then they also had these. They had a whole bunch of different kinds of socks, like themed socks or whatever. I mean, they had some with like ramen noodles or like weird stuff like that, like food on them. But I got this one because it says Good Burger on it, like the logo from Good Burger. That movie from Nickelodeon. What's stupid is I bought the DVD of Good Burger 2, but I still haven't watched it yet. A part of me is a little hesitant to watch Good Burger 2 because there have been so many sequels or legacy sequels or whatever how they're calling them now. Sequels to movies like from when I was growing up, or like ones from like movies that were years and years ago, and then they finally come out with a sequel, like trying to reboot it or do a sequel. And sometimes they're pretty good, but sometimes they're just kind of, it feels a little off, or it feels just like, I don't know, like a little disappointing, and I don't want Good Burger to be ruined by some crappy sequel or whatever. The weird thing is, of all the movies that I could have seen twice in the movie theater, Good Burger is the one that I've seen twice in a movie theater. Like when I was growing up, like I saw this twice in the movie theater. Once by myself, and then once with my best friend. Not my best friend that I buy stuff for all the time, but this guy that I used to be best friends with. But we went to see Good Burger. I saw this twice in the movie theaters. Never saw another movie twice in the theaters, but I saw Good Burger twice. So I just don't want Good Burger to be ruined with a sequel. But I do have the DVD, and it looks funny and stuff. I just haven't watched it yet. But I did buy these socks because I thought they were kind of cool. I do collect like 90s Nickelodeon stuff, and I thought these were kind of cool that they even made these. And then when I was looking at where the shopping bags were, they had this one hanging there with the Rugrats on it. I could not believe that they had this. I can't remember how much this reusable bag was. I don't know why it's called a reusable bag, because like I'm never going to use this. Like this is too adorable. I mean, I guess I could, but you know what I'm saying. Like this is going to go with my collectibles. I'm not going to use this, but it's really cute and it has all the Rugrats on it. And I love that they have Susie on it too, because they sometimes they leave Susie off, and so I just had to get that. And I got my mom one too because she loves the Rugrats too. But I got her one of those. And then I went to Hobby Lobby and looking for yarn. They didn't have any. But they did have in the clearance section this art project tape. It's just like this black, or it's more like dark gray, but it's like black glitter tape, because I love black and I love glittery things and stuff. And so I bought like every single one of these. These were regular $2.99 and I got them for $1.49. So they were only half off. Because like I was thinking, like when I started to notice the clearance prices for the stuff that's not yarn, I noticed that like some of the stuff is half off instead of 75% off. And I was thinking, like, hopefully, what I was worried about was like, are they going to start changing the clearance price? Are the clearance prices for the yarn only going to be half off from now on, and instead of 75% off? But I think what they do is all the home stuff is usually 50% off, and like I mean the seasonal stuff goes down even further than 75% off. But like the more home stuff or stuff like this, it's not yarn. It usually just goes down to 50% off. But they had 1, 2, 3, 4. In my head, I'm going, who cares? like as if you're wanting to like, oh, how many does he have? Like you're making bets in your head of like how many I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I bought 6 of them. So those were in there. And then I was looking in the other clearance aisle, and they had these little strawberries. And I love all those things, like the shelf that you like when you first walk into Hobby Lobby, they have this shelf there with all the glass stuff and the jewel looking things and those little trinket boxes, and I love that shelf. It's like one of my favorite shelves to look at in that store. And they had this strawberry that was obviously over there, but it was clearanced out. I don't know why it was clearanced out. But this was in the clearance aisle. The regular price was $10.99, and they clearanced it down to $5.49. But it's this beautiful little pink strawberry, like one of those trinket boxes. I guess that's what you call it. I don't know why they would call it a trinket box, because you couldn't fit even like a ring in this thing, or any of those other ones. But it's just like this adorable little trinket box. But my mom loves these little trinket boxes too, and so I saw this little strawberry in there, and I thought, this would be a perfect thing to give to her. And so I bought this for my mom, and of course she loved it and everything. And I told her that there were a couple more in there. And so she said it would be really nice to get one to give to that woman that gave us the 4-leaf clover, the little stained glass thing I showed in my previous video. And the one that makes all the stained glass stuff for us, and I made the bookmark for her. And so the next time I was in there, I got one for her too. And then what I did was I took a video of it, because my mom already gave it to her. But I put it in this little box that I had. And then I used some yarn and made some chains and, like, you know, to make a little bow for the outside of the box and everything. And my mom gave the strawberry to her, and of course she loved it. And she said, he made these this bow and these chains and stuff, didn't he? And so she said that she wanted to keep the little bow or whatever that I made. It was just like out of, you know, chains and stuff. But she loved it, and so of course my mom loved this too. But anytime they have anything like this on clearance, I'm probably going to get it, because I love all that stuff, like the glass jewels especially, and then the little trinket boxes. This is the first time I've ever seen like one of the trinket boxes on sale. So you know, $5.49 for that. And then also in the clearance aisle, they had 2 of these. These were regular $8.99, and they were on sale for $4.49. And so I got these to go in our bathroom, because, like I said, I'm having fun like decorating our bathroom. And so we're finding a lot of like glass things like this, and it's looking really pretty. I'll have to take some pictures or something sometime. But this, we're just keeping our Q-tips in it. But they had 2 of these, so I got these 2 too. Yeah, these are the glass bottles that we found these at Dollar Tree, but these are really pretty glass bottles, and the little topper on them is a jewel, and I think these were $1.25 at Dollar Tree, worth it. And so there's one that's a little peachy and a little, how am I describing the color? Peachy and purple, and then a blue one. And so that's the kind of aesthetic that we're building in our bathroom. All this, like, you know, pretty glass jewel stuff, and like perfume bottles and all kinds of stuff like that. And so those little glass things that we bought at Hobby Lobby match everything perfectly too. So. Oh, no, I forgot to mention, when I was in Dollar Tree, they did have a Friends playing card set, so I did get that. And then this is just for my brother. But my brother loved that show, Sons of Anarchy. And there was one Christmas I got him that big Blu-ray set that looks like the table. It's a really cool set. But he loved Sons of Anarchy. And I think he watched the spin-offs too. I can't remember how many spin-offs there are. I haven't watched Sons of Anarchy yet. But they had these air fresheners with like the Sons of Anarchy logos on them. Like that one and that one and that one. So got that from my brother. But it is really cool that Dollar Tree is starting to carry a lot of stuff like this, because like you know, I never would have thought that I could get, you know, Good Burger socks in Dollar Tree of all places. And then they did have some really cool air fresheners. They didn't have any Beatles or Lucy or look whatever. They had, of course, they had like some other like pop culture things, and a SpongeBob something or other, and I think they had like a Bob Ross one or whatever. But whatever. They do have a lot of really unique things like that that you would never think it would be themed around something, you know, kind of fandom related. But I got that from my brother, because, you know, he loves that show. And then on another trip to Goodwill, they had this ram statue or whatever, because like my mom loves the collecting the animals that have like the mother or father and then the baby, and so this is going to go with all her animal stuff. This is only $8. If you could feel how heavy this was, you'd realize how what a good deal this was. I mean, this could work as like a door stopper. It's so freaking heavy. But it's going to go with all her animal stuff. I need to get her a nice shelf sometime to put all her animal stuff on, like the little figurines and all the pictures and all that. But I got that in Goodwill. And then I got a couple other things. They had this Harry Potter tapestry, and I could not believe that this was in there. I mean, and it's vintage too. It's one of these like fabric tapestries. I don't know if you can see this, because I'm like behind it, but it's the scene where they're in the boat, like heading to Hogwarts, and I mean, it's really cool. And the label on it, I mean, it's an official Harry Potter thing, and it says copyright 2000. This is before the first movie came out, and so this, because I think the first book came out in 1997, and so this is like a vintage thing. And I was looking on eBay, because they had 2 of these, and I hesitate to even say this story, but they had 2 of these. And I only got one because I thought, you know, this is like $4.29 for this. And so they had 2 of them in there though. But I thought I'm gonna get one of these. And so I got it home and I was looking it up on eBay, because I thought I've never seen this before. And for this to be a vintage one from 2000, and like to be in such perfect condition, I mean, it really is, like the label and everything. I mean, this was never used. You could tell. It's just in perfect, like no snags or anything anywhere on this. And so I was looking on eBay, and they were going for like $180, and because they're vintage, and so like I had this thought, like maybe I should go back and get the other one, and so like but it was already after they had closed it for that day. But I had this thought, like, maybe I should go back and get the other one. Because, like, yeah, if these are worth $180, like, I'm not usually, like, a reseller or, like, a flipper or whatever. And that ticks me off when people do that. But, you know, people just are trying to make a living. But, like, I never really wanted to be like that. but I was thinking like $180. Holy crap! How much yarn could that buy? So anyway, so I went to Goodwill the next day, and like I said, I stay up all night and I sleep all day. So like I went in there in the afternoon the next day, and it was gone. Like the tapestry was gone. But like in my head, I thought, well, that serves me right for even thinking of because like how many times have I bitched in my videos about the price of things in Goodwill, and like they get this stuff for free and they put all this these expensive prices on it, and this was like a really good deal, $4.29, and just the fact that I got one for myself is enough. I didn't need to go and get a second one and flip it or whatever to try to make money. I mean, I felt like really bad even thinking of going back to just to get it, and so it serves me right that it was gone or whatever, and hopefully whoever got it wasn't a reseller like my ass was trying to be or whatever. Hopefully it's somebody that like me got this because I couldn't believe that this was like a cool Harry Potter tapestry thing from 2000 or whatever. Hopefully it went to somebody like me. The me that wouldn't have bought that to resell it or whatever. But anyway, so it was gone. But luckily I went in there. Like the positive thing that came out of it was I was looking for the tapestry, and they had another one, another tapestry. It looked like this. Like when it was all folded up, you couldn't really see what it was. And so I was thinking, is this the one? And of course it wasn't. But luckily I went in there for it. So like, yeah, I was a prick for even thinking of like buying the second one to resell it. But it scored me this second one. It's not Harry Potter related, but it has kitties on it, and it has yarn balls on it. See, I'm gonna buy, and like I don't need the freaking tapestry or whatever, but I wanted to buy this because it does have yarn balls on it, and so there's all these kitties on it, like this, or I mean this way. So there's all these kitties on it, and then across here are yarn balls, and then as you go down. At the bottom, there's some yarn balls too across the bottom. And so what I'm going to do with this, I was thinking the perfect thing to use this for would be to like put it on top of my washing machine when I'm not using it. Because like I could make like a giant cozy or whatever like to cover my washing machine when I'm not using it, out of crochet or whatever. But I was thinking like that would use a lot of yarn just for something ridiculous like that. But like the only thing that's in this room, I mean, other than like my ceramics or like the chest of drawers here, the only thing that's in this room that isn't crochet related or yarn related is my washing machine, because this was supposed to be a laundry room. But I was thinking I could use this as like a thing to drape over my washing machine when I'm not using it, and so yeah, it has like kitties and stuff on it, but it does have yarn balls on it, and so I was thinking that would be kind of cool to like put that over my washing machine just to have something yarn related on top of it. But I just couldn't pass that up for $4.29. This is $4.29 too, so I got that at Goodwill, and I got a couple other things. So even though they didn't have another one of those tapestries, they did have some more Harry Potter stuff, and so they had this sign. This is obviously like a generic thing, probably some knockoff. This was $5.99, but it says "Wizards welcome, Muggles tolerated." I just thought that was kind of funny. And then it has like the glasses and his scar on top of it, his lightning bolt scar. And so I'm gonna put that in my Harry Potter stuff. And then they have this Harry Potter Serpents and Staircases game. It kind of reminds me of Chutes and Ladders. Speaking of Susie, now I'm thinking about Rugrats, because there's a scene in Rugrats. Let me just focus on this, and now I'll tell the story. But it kind of reminds me of Chutes and Ladders. But the staircases in the game are kind of like the ladders in Chutes and Ladders, and then the staircases like in Harry Potter in Hogwarts, they move, and so you can kind of move them. And it's a really cool game. This was $2.99. But anyway, like I was saying, I'm going off on a freaking tangent about Susie. But it reminds me of that scene from Rugrats, because I have TV and movie references for every freaking thing. But it reminds me of that scene from Rugrats where Susie and Angelica were playing Chutes and Ladders, and then Angelica, of course, she goes shoot, 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 and then Susie goes ladders, 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 I win. Susie. So she was the one in the game. now I'm thinking of another. Susie when she goes my room. You know what I'm saying. But anyway, other than that, the only thing I'll talk about is I went into Hobby Lobby, and like I don't like as many times as I've been into Hobby Lobby, this is the first time that I noticed, like I guess I'm just like so focused on the clearance yarn, like I never really noticed like when you're in the store, like on the upper wall, on the not every single wall, but like on the upper wall, there are these giant posters there, and obviously they're old posters. It took me a while to realize that they were really old, but like I guess that there are sections like up on the wall where they put all the seasonal stuff, but like I never really noticed before that they do have these giant posters there. Like, it's weird how our brain and our vision kind of focuses in on things, because like I'll go through the grocery store or whatever. Like as many times as I go in the grocery store, that there have been times where I'll like look up and I'll think, oh, where did that sign come from? Like giant things in there. It's like my vision is so focused in on like, you know, what I normally get, or like, you know, the food in the aisles and stuff. I never really noticed like the signs on the walls, or like, you know, oh, they have a giant painting on the wall that says produce, like, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I never really noticed these giant posters in Hobby Lobby. And there's a poster over there where the seasonal stuff is. Like the yarn is on the other side of the store. So that's what should have tipped me off that this was an old sign. But they had an old sign, and I'll put a picture up, because I took a picture of it, because I was thinking, is that a freaking, like I was walking, hang on, I'm like saying five things at once. So I was like walking out of the store, and like out of my peripheral vision, I was like putting the cart back, and I noticed that there was a sign on the wall, and it had some yarn on it. Like how I couldn't notice before that there was a sign with yarn on it all this time. But I noticed in my peripheral vision there was a sign, and I swear it looked like yarn. And so I didn't want to like put my cart there and then like walk over there, because I had my bag in my hand, and I didn't want, you know, some employee to think that I was, you know, getting my bag and then, you know, taking it back into the store, and you know, I didn't want them to think I was going to steal something. Although if I could have reached, I would have stolen that sign. No, it's like this giant sign. But I wanted to, I made note of, like, I need to check that sign the next time I'm in the store, you know, the next day probably. And so I went in there the next day, and I looked at that sign, and it is like a close-up of yarn, like little cakes of yarn, like the Crafter's Secret Cotton kind of cakes. And so I took a picture of it and everything. But what's weird is they don't sell that in Hobby Lobby, so obviously it's really old. Because, like, I think Hobby Lobby, other than, there's that kind of loop yarn, I think they have it in my store, and that's not their brand. And then they do have some of that mandala or mandala or whatever, that string. But otherwise, they don't have any, like, they don't carry any other brands. All the brands that they carry in there are their own, except for like a very small selection of other ones. But I guess they must have used to... Such a hick. They must have used to... for God's sake, it sound, I mean, it's right, but it sounds so wrong. They must have used to. They must have used. I guess in the olden days. Thank God this is the end of the video, because for God's sake, such a freaking mess. So. I know that they used to have all kinds of other brands in there, but obviously it must have been one that they used to carry. But they still have the sign up, and but I looked at the sign. If the picture was better, I would, you know, sort of dream about like getting that sign. But then at the same time, I was thinking, like, if they ever change the signs, like I was gonna like go up to somebody and actually find the confidence to go up to somebody and say, if you ever take down these signs, I want that one with the yarn on it. But then at the same time, I was thinking, I was sort of having flashbacks of the whole like Wendy's Wednesday poster, you know, crap or whatever. I was supposed to say something else. Like when I get really comfortable here at the end of these videos, I have this urge to cuss. But I was having flashbacks of that, you know, stupid crap with the whole Wendy's Wednesday posters thing, and you know, like trying to get those posters from my niece, and then they took them down and threw them away, or gave them away or whatever. That even though I claimed them, and then the other Wendy's did the same damn thing. I haven't eaten it in there at Wendy's. I haven't eaten at Wendy's. I should leave all this crap in. This is the kind of bullshit that goes on when I film these freaking videos. God, like when I have all these jump cuts, it's because of shit like this. So anyway, or crap like this. It doesn't matter at this point. So such a mess. So even more than you realize, because I usually cut all this crap out. But anyway, so I was having flashbacks about that, and so I was looking at that poster, and like, yeah, it's kind of cool that it's this giant poster of yarn. But I was thinking, like, my luck, I'm gonna go up to them, and then they're gonna say, oh yeah, sure, we'll save it for you. And there's gonna be like a repeat of the whole Wednesday thing, you know, up there at Wendy's, and then and they're gonna take the posters down eventually in the future, and then they're not gonna save it for me, and then I'm gonna have to like boycott them too. And like that would never happen, because like, you know, I don't want to go to Wendy's anymore because of that whole Wednesday stuff. But I would hate for that to happen with Hobby Lobby, and they take down the posters and then they don't save them for me, and then I feel like I'm never going to that place again, because like that would never happen. So I would get frustrated for like one day, and then the next day I'd be there, like, you know, eating crow or whatever, just like, you know, walking through that thinking, you know, I hate this place even more than I already do. But then I'd still be in there looking for clearance yarn and stuff. But anyway, because if I stopped going to Hobby Lobby, the store would probably shut down. No, but anyway, because I go in there every freaking day. But anyway, that's the end of this video. God, I'm sorry about the mess here at the end, but luckily, if you're watching to this point, then you're used to my mess at this point. Because you know, most of the people that if they don't know what they're in for with my videos, they're gone, you know, after a couple minutes anyway. So if you're watching at this point, you're probably, oh yeah, well, you know what you're like. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Back again. No, I just wanted to put this little message at the end, because I was gathering up all this stuff, you know, putting it back in the bag so I can take a thumbnail. And then I was thinking, it wasn't just the end of this video that was a mess. And you should have known from the very beginning what a mess this video was, because I was like looking around and I thought, where the hell's the I didn't even put the little blanket thing, my chair back on the back of my freaking chair. I didn't even... God, so you should have known from the very start that this how this video was going to turn out, because it was a total mess. I didn't even put the freaking chair back on the back of my chair like I usually do. God, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video anyway, as much of a mess it was, especially here at the end. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, like and subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.